Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores.
Are you ready, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot to pee.
I'm rolling.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings your Garage Logic podcast number 1,252.
Wow.
2/23/24. I think either yesterday, today, or tomorrow is exactly the 2-year mark since the Ruskies invaded Ukraine. It's been going on for 2 years. 59 degrees on this day in 1958 and 25 below on this day in 1889. And last year on this day,
February 20.
7 inches of snow.
Wow.
Hail the flashlight king.
But see, that was last winter. I would have gladly talked over that.
Okay.
That was last winter, which was the last winter we've ever had. So it's no wonder that
Right.
we got 7 inches last
According
year.
to
on
Paul
this day.
Douglas, it certainly
No,
is.
there's people that think this is the last one. So that's fine this year. And from here on out, there'll never be another snowfall.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
Got some great emails today. Mark Tadich writes, now he's got a real problem here. This is going to be an interesting case to solve for GLers. I took the broken part of a cookie about the size of a quarter from a Holiday gas station. They have me on camera eating it at the checkout counter. I am now being charged with shoplifting and have to go before a judge next Tuesday.
What?
This occurred in Brainerd, and the store manager stated he felt violated. Any thoughts? Mark.
I thought this was going to be a punchline.
He's a GLer, so he's got to know what we're going to say.
Well, I say throw the book at him and lock him up for a year.
Well, that's a little harsh,
Maybe
Joe.
more analogy.
Yeah, a little
But
harsh.
I'm saying he's a GLer. He knows what he did wrong. Go to the court date and hope that the judge throws this out because it's absurd.
Oh, first of all, I can't believe. Is this true? It
So,
could
wait.
be. It could be true because it's really far away from the country's tallest buildings where people still expect honesty.
Yeah.
He walked up to the counter and he saw
Chewing
a
on this
free...
quarter-size hunk of cookie, he probably saw leftovers somewhere.
Right.
Well, that makes me nervous, though. Why is he picking up a
Yeah, what a
used cookie?
rube. Why would he do that?
That's neither here nor there, Matt.
Hi,
Well,
I'm
that was the
Kenny.
temptation, you know?
Well, we have people on the staff who would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Depending
put
on
him
what
in my
kind-
snack pouch.
Yeah, you have a little pouch for like a kangaroo.
Did he offer to pay for said cookie he gnawed on?
I read you the entire email.
I know. I'm asking a follow-up question. You ask me to be curious all the time.
Well, I can't. How in the hell would I know?
Why start today, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Just-
Why start with an idiotic question based on me not having the information?
He
Your Honor.
asks you to
Wow.
take part, and when you take part, you
That's
get
right.
persecuted.
That's right.
Your Honor, follow-up question.
Yes, sir.
What kind of a cookie was it?
See, again, I don't
Huge
know what
piece of
kind
No further questions, please.
Oatmeal raisin? If it's oatmeal raisin,
of
then
point of law. Well, it turns out I was in a gas station. I took a little piece of cookie. Now I'm being prosecuted. Well, let me tell you something. You's wrong. Mark, I don't know what to tell you, but Kenny's probably right. Go to court and basically say, "Are you kidding me?" Or go to court and give him $1 for the
Here's
cookie.
the
I-
$1.25.
Your Honor, tell him the truth, and then say, Your Honor, I'm at your mercy.
I wish we had more information though from this guy saying, how was he called out? The store manager was offended,
That was answered in the
He
email, Matt.
felt
He
violated,
was
Matthew.
captured on camera.
so he called the cops.
The store clerk apparently did, sure. And the store clerk said he felt violated. And again, that tells me this is a long way from the country's tallest buildings. So I believe the Brainerd part. In other words, he was up there, and
I think that person doesn't know what violated means.
no, I don't
Yeah.
either.
I'm thinking about the video I saw yesterday of 4 people with armfuls of clothes that were walking out of a Target somewhere in the United States and getting in a car and driving away without being accosted by any of the employees.
I take you now to San Francisco. I love the segues. A generations old hardware store. So this will hit the hearts of GLers.
Yep.
A generations old hardware store, Frederickson Hardware and Paint in California, is forced to go above and beyond to protect its shoppers as the state's crime wave continues to rise. Frederickson Hardware and Paint, a long-standing shop front in the Cow Hollow Marina area of San Francisco, will now provide shoppers with a staff member to escort them through the shop. We really weren't given a choice. I mean, we have to keep our employees safe and our customers safe. When they're coming in to do snatch and grabs, that was the final straw. Store manager Sam Black told local news outlet Fox 2, one of the television stations in Frisco. Frederickson Hardware and Paint is seen from the street. That's a cut line. It's a shock. This has been happening maybe all over the city and other parts of the country. Now it's finally reaching Cow Hollow. Black continued. All right, let me nip this in the bud. Could one of you ne'er-do-wells figure out where this Cow Hollow section is? It sounds like it might be in San Francisco proper. Shoppers will now be walked through the store, a hardware store, where you want to pick through the nuts and bolts of life. Shoppers will now be walked through the store by a personal attendant from the moment they walk in up until the moment they leave.
She's right off the 101, Joe, in San Francisco.
It's one of its most well-known and desirable neighborhoods. World-class boutique shopping, diverse housing market, easy proximity to recreational activities.
Is it close to downtown?
It looks like it.
I haven't seen the map yet.
I had not previously heard of Cow Hollow, but Cow has a familiarity in San Francisco. The city's arena was known as the Cow Palace.
Yeah, and I believe a lot of people have chose to move there.
Oh.
This will not
I'll
go
see
on the
myself
highlight
out.
reel.
It's off of Lombard Street.
Let's write down
Close to the
damn
water,
near.
yeah.
All right. Frederickson's Hardware and Paint hopes the increased awareness and attention to each shopper will dissuade would-be criminals from continuing to ransack the store with snatch and grabs that threaten to put it out of business. The San Francisco that's another cut line. Stories about high-profile companies around the San Francisco area closing shop or hiring extra security have made grim headlines in recent months. Target closed its downtown Oakland location last year after police responded to more than 100 smash and grab thefts and similar incidents in 2023. In-N-Out recently announced its sole Oakland burger joint closing. The first time in the company's history it had to make such a decision due to rampant burglaries, property damage, and armed robberies in the area. A picture showing. A Denny's also closed down last month because of a crime epidemic. Blue Shield, Clorox, and Kaiser Permanente, the largest employer in Oakland, have issued warnings to employees, hired security guards, or taken other actions in response to the crime surge in the city. And may I add, I don't often cite Twitter, or known as X, but sometimes you can't. You're scrolling through it looking for something, and you might come across a video, as I did yesterday, of a police officer. Two videos. One was a police officer who was getting routinely slugged in the face by a black woman, a very large woman, heavy set. So her punches carried some weight. And his partner happened to be a black police officer. He watched his white partner take a few of these hits and then stepped in and decked this woman. Because the white officer obviously was so trained that he better not,
could be
that
a
he
trap
sit
here.
there and took it.
Wow.
The other one I saw was a black female motorist was pulled over because the cop smelled a great deal of weed in her car.
Okay, she got weed.
And then the checks they do on the license plate revealed that the license plate didn't belong on her black MDX. They came off a stolen Saturn. And she was confronted about this and just said, well, I'm not getting out of the car.
Yeah.
I legally parked right here on the side of the street. The cop said, you're under arrest. I have to confront you about this. And he was patient. It took him 5 minutes. You have to get out of the car. She just refused. Finally, he pulled her out of the car. My point being that the decline of moral and ethical integrity, which includes a complete breakdown of the civil contract, is rampant in this country.
Yeah.
It's part of the downfall of this country, are people refusing to obey simple instructions from authorities.
Yeah, those two examples you cited, the internet is chock-a-block with that sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
It's happening thousands of times every day. That's what our police are dealing with.
There are guys, I'm sure you've seen them, Kenny, on Twitter or X, I guess, who basically put out training videos how to ignore police when they stop you.
Oh, those videos make me so angry.
Oh, yeah, it's impossible to watch without being angry.
Yep.
I saw a funny one. What was it? I can't think of it. Oh, cop says, what's your name? She says, Frida. Frida what? Frida to go. So she says, thank you, and takes off.
Come on.
Yeah. Frida go. But then I saw another one, honest to God, I'm loath to mention these things, but my God, as Kenny said and John said, they're all over the interwebs. It was a black teacher in a high school situation, and a black student endlessly in the front of the room, defying any authority whatsoever, kept calling the teacher the N-word. And the teacher took it and took it and took it. And the most disappointing part of the video was that all the other kids were doing it was filming and guffawing. None of them were compelled to display any humanity or civility at all. And it went on and on and on.
And when did you know it was going to go down?
When the teacher finally approached the guy and just decked him.
No, you knew it was about to go down when the teacher took off his glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, so the situation was resolved. And then I suppose the teacher got fired, right?
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know what happened to the teacher. But I don't envy these teachers if that's what they're putting up with.
It says a lot about where we're at as a society, just on the behavior of the rest of the students, that they would just sit there passively and either laugh or tape it or not do anything at all.
Exactly what they did.
Yeah.
They laughed and taped it.
Yeah, it says a lot about where we're at.
And then when the teacher finally reacted, all you got was a bunch of cheering and oohing and eyeing. Eyeing, oohing and eyeing.
But I think that's an indication of also where we're at. There's just so many people out there who are unwilling to get involved because they're afraid of retribution.
What's coming?
What do you mean?
What's coming?
Reckoning.
It's here. It's here. So yesterday,
the reckoning would imply a change, wouldn't it? Wouldn't the reckoning imply that we've had this cannot continue?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I don't think it's hyperbole to say doesn't make any difference where you live. It doesn't make any difference what your socioeconomic status is. It doesn't make any difference if you're an honest, tax-paying, God-fearing citizen. No one is safe from the decline of moral and ethical integrity. It's happening in every corner of every city. The closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, and then you have this foul criminal in Brainerd who took a piece of cookie. So it's happening everywhere.
Listen, remember yesterday we talked about the trans athlete, a guy that had trans to a girl, and he had a beard and he was in high school. And what did he do?
he would, in the act of wrestling for the ball, he just inevitably was throwing all the other girls to the floor
and causing injuries, right?
Yeah.
And this, of course, inspired rage with me. And I was wondering why nobody went out there and punched this guy, why a teacher or a student or a parent went out there. I got a email from our guy Bob in Alexandria. I totally agree with the bearded basketball baboon. He needed a good ass kicking. Then I thought about my love for guns and or the repercussions of a violent offense that would have for sure been recorded. Then I thought about fighting injustice like the idiots stopping traffic by sitting on 35W. The parents should have just done a sit-in and refused to get off the court. That's a good point. The parents should have gone out there, sat down, and stopped the whole thing from happening. The ref should have also ejected him for a flagrant foul. It's really sad. And Bob makes a good point. The parents should have just gone down there and done one of those ridiculous sit-ins and made the whole thing stop. Nonviolent.
I cannot contest that. I agree.
Yeah. Somebody's got to step in.
The game did stop it only because the team with the
team
females
forfeited the
said,
game.
"Hey, you know what? We don't want any more people hurt. We're done."
Yeah, it shouldn't have come to that. It shouldn't have come to that.
Not at all.
Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail you.
I previously sent you my income tax documents for the township trustee position I currently hold at the outrageous salary of $25 a year. This is Chuck in Alabama. He's referencing the corrupt mayor of Dalton, Illinois, who's been stealing the taxpayers blind, however, allegedly. Today, I listened to you stumble upon the salaries of the school board members that dwell in the land of the tall buildings. Well, I also previously served as a school board member for around 10 years, while the kids I used to have were in the local public school. I will not be providing my tax documents because I made exactly zero for those years. Out here where the tall buildings happen to be grain elevators, the people that I served with did so because it was important to our small towns that we hold on to local control of our most important resources against the pressures of the mystery. No one ever expected to be paid, and no one stayed too long. Seems to me that you folks in the big city are begging the mystery to take control of those important resources by paying handsomely for Mysterians or worse to bring their ideas to reality. Essentially, public resources, your money, are being used to provide well-paying jobs for activists that otherwise could not make a living peddling their BS. Our crusty and tight-fisted board was intent on keeping track of every one of those tax dollars. There is an enormous difference in the outcomes. Good luck, Chuck in Alabama. Isn't that splendid? That's a piece of America that's gone.
But did you get the email I sent you from our friend?
Yes. Do I have that here? You may read it.
Just listen to you guys and your clip on Minneapolis school board members' salaries. Way back when, a couple of friends were on the local small town school board. The members did not take a salary. Also, for several years, the teachers did not take a raise. The district barely had enough money to buy toilet paper. Then the state stepped in and said they had to take a salary and the teachers had to accept a raise. Small town schools could be very efficient if the state government wasn't involved.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's like in Sioux Falls, but they are telling us that it's extraordinarily better in Sioux Falls, particularly if you're thinking about relocating. You take a look around at what's happening in Minnesota and you might think, you know what? I've got a growing business here. I really like it. I want to grow it, but I'm not sure if Minnesota is the best place. You might want to take a look at Sioux Falls. They have available buildings, build-ready sites, get your company up and running fast.